1st of August, 1963. Dear Sir, danger from coal slurry being tipped at the rear of the Pantglass schools. In connection with the above, Councillor Mrs. Williams has advised me that the coal board appeared to be taking slurry similar to that which was deposited and gave so much trouble at the quarry at Merthyr Vale up onto the existing tip at the rear of the Pantglass schools. If this is the true statement of its position, then I regard this as extremely serious, as the slurry is so fluid and the gradient so steep that it could not possibly stay in place during the winter time or in periods of heavy rain.
Before writing to the National Coal Board, I thought it would be advisable if you called to see the position for yourself, and I will leave it to you to decide whether you call at Merthyr Vale Colliery before you pay the visit. If you do this, it may be a good thing, as the manager will probably decide to go with you and show you exactly what they are doing. Furthermore, in connection with the above, my public works superintendent has been in touch with Mr. Wynne, manager at Merthyr Vale Colliery, in connection with the deposit of slurry on the existing tip at the rear of the Pantglass schools.
I am very apprehensive about this matter, and the apprehension is also in the minds of the local councillors and residents of this area, as they have previously experienced, due to periods of heavy rain, the movement of the slurry and to the danger and the detriment of the people and property adjoining the site of the tip. I understand that Mr. Wynne has spoken to my superintendent that the slurry be 40% dewatered before being tipped, but he agrees, of course, that this would not be the solution in the winter time due to the absorption of stormwater.
You know that if the tips above the Merthyr Vale Tower above the Pantglass area were to move, then a very serious position would occur. I would like your observation on this as soon as possible. Yours faithfully, signed DCW Jones, JB, Borough and Engineer Worker, the 1st of August, 1963.
The next thing I remember was waking up. Covered with all this material. With a dead girl on my shoulder. And a little aperture of light above me, where you could see the dust reflecting, and no roof to the actual building. The roof had absolutely caved in and gone.
Evans will discipline you again.
Yes, Carrie, as I know, but I can't find Catherine's shoes. Where'd you put them?
Well, I don't know. You, the one who picked her up from school, shouldn't you have seen where she put them?
I wasn't paying that much, it said, shoe.
Well, maybe next time you should.
It's difficult to keep track of an overexcited 8-year-old Sylvia. I can't constantly check on everything she's doing.
And that's why, darling, there are two of us.
Sweet talk, I'm looking find them shoes.
Catherine, darling, where did you put your shoes? Think really hard for me, can you remember?
Tried that already. She said she wanted to the table, but I can't find them.
Are you sure you were looking with your eyes?
Oh, yeah.
No bother. They've been found now, that's all that matters. Right, come on, you. You're going to be late. You too, Missy. Right. Get going, both of you.
Should we be there when I looked?
Uh-huh. Sure. She's going to need a new pair soon. She's growing up so fast. I wish she'd stayed this little forever.
Yeah, me too.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
Come on, Vivian, you can't lie to me. What is it now?
It's just today and it looks so extra. Something just doesn't feel right.
So you're just being paranoid again. What's the worst that can happen? You get a little wet? Oh, what a shame.
Mrs. Thomas, you told me to keep me together.
Well, then you'd have to take off these wet clothes. Do you think it's time we try for another baby? I think we can handle it.
I'm not sure. We can talk about it tonight when I get home.
Promise?
Yes, carry on.
Alright. You really are going to be late now. I'll see you later, Mr. Thomas.
See you later, Mr. Thomas. Fuck, just me, is it? Late again, Hughes.
Shut up. The missus again. I said shut up. Don't tell Evans I'll have my head.
I can leave. No promises.
Just don't tell him. Anyone fancy a smoke?
Oh, no talk.
I'll take one. Proper man.
Just don't fancy a smoke, Hughes. Nothing wrong with that.
Never said there was.
It was implied.
No such thing, Thomas. It's all in your head.
Not sure that it is, Hughes.
Alright, ladies, calm down. Don't get your niggas in the wrong.
Shut up, Davies!
Make us one, will you?
Why should I?
Oh, don't be like that. Don't be joking.
Hell, it's nice here. Make it yourself.
Why can't you two stop sniping at each other and sit down and get ready? We do that in 5 minutes. We have some last conversation about you two acting like bloody women. Thank you. A bit of silence would be nice. Maybe stop doing that all these times.
Fine, alright. I'm only doing it because me and Bruce actually doesn't make a decent couple around here.
Hey, that's not true. Use Davey. She's being catty because Thomas finally has to do something for once in his life.
Excuse me.
Alright, sit down, shut up, I'll make the ball down for you.
Nah, you're wasting him.
I can agree there. Fine, I give up. First time you two agree on anything and still harass me.
In all fairness, mate, your tea is shocking.
It's not that bad, really. It is. I've spat it out when you ain't looking. I can feel it give me typhoid.
Wonderful weather we're having today.
Not really, it's miserable out. It's been raining for hours.
No, yeah, it's absolutely lashing it on. I think it's letting up a bit now. I'm still miserable though.
Yeah, it's just dribbling a bit now. Hey, does that tip look different today?
What do you mean?
Like, does it look different?
I have no idea what you mean. Sure you're not imagining it? Going to see now?
Yeah, look, it's lower, I swear.
What? How's that happen?
I don't know.
Are you sure?
Yes, look for yourself.
It looks different.
See, told you, not going batty.
Slower.
Like, it's sunk.
Yeah.
Alright, so how do we fix that?
I have no idea.
Neither. I am nowhere near qualified enough for this.
Should we call through his head office? Are you mental?
Do you want us to lose our jobs?
No.
Then don't say anything. The court board's been looking for an excuse to close us down.
Shouldn't we say something though?
And say what? Anything that we say is going to lose us our jobs. Meadowvale closing down is going to wipe Aberfan off the map.
We should tell them no cues. Sink of my looks bit. Isn't that dangerous?
A great bleeding palace slag on the hill's always going to be dangerous. Anyway, can't call ahead.
Why not?
Line's gone again. Bloody kids. I don't even know why they've got a phone line. It's getting ridiculous now.
Alright, well I think we should call head office about it anyway. I personally don't know how to unthinking tips and maybe they could shed some light on that particular issue. Unless you have any bright ideas, shouldn't we?
Well, how are you planning on doing that then? Still no phone line.
Davies, go to Dad, that's it. He has a phone, call from there.
Why me?
Because.
Because
Because.
we're due down the pit in a few minutes. It'll take me over an hour to get all the way back to Aberfan. Are you kidding me?
I'll cover for you. You want to call head office, right?
So did you? He was acting like children now, baby. Shut up, you. It'll take me ages to get all the way there and back.
I better get your skates on then.
I hate you so much.
It's a 5-minute walk, you can run.
I hate you both.
Is this a problem? Are we really going to lose our jobs because of this?
I don't know. I mean, we're doing everything we've been told. Surely we're not going to get into trouble for that.
It just not like the time.
Yeah, ours definitely sunk. Hopefully Davies is going to get answers from head office about losing us our jobs.
Hopefully. Come on, get changed. We're due down the pit.
Alright, I'm sure it'll be fine, Thomas.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I used to play on that monstrous mountain slide. And in my youth, I remember call from it. I played on that too peaceful and innocent, like many generations before me had. We didn't see anything wrong with it. How could we have known?
Everybody knew that one day, someday, that hideous scar on the landscape, that indiscriminate dumping of colliery refuse, would bring disaster. But little did we know that when it did happen, it would bring devastation, heartbreak, and sorrow in its wake.
My abiding memory of that day is blackness and dark. I was buried by this horrible story and I'm afraid of the dark to this day. It was the worst day of my life. I don't think there can be anything worse to ever happen.
I told him the spring at the head of the mountain had always been there. I told him so. It was not a hidden spring. The National Coal Board must have known about it because everyone in the village did. Every man, every woman, and every child in Aberfan knew about that spring.
How could this happen to us?
Everything seemed so normal.
It was just a normal day.
It was all just so ordinary, so normal.
How could we have known?
How could they have done this?
David,
Susan,
Gwyneth,
Catherine,
Davies will kill you for sitting there.
Ah, don't see me now.
The high school back to you. You'll hang by your bollocks.
Ah, I don't see what his problem is. It's just a check.
Ah, it's not. No, but he's back to you. And you know the consequences. You've been warned. Arse.
Yeah.
Hughes, I really think we should do something. It's even lower than last time we checked.
That can't be true, really. It can't.
Look, stop being an ass for 3 seconds and look at your eyes.
Oh no, you stop being an
No. Just look.
Shit!
Yeah? Shit. Ed obviously needs to do something about this. We need to get rid of this tip.
How do you suppose you do that though? Where's it all going to go?
I don't know. I have no idea what I like. Just look at it. Over the past hour and a half, it's gone down even more. This can't be safe.
Bloody Tories are going to have us pay for it to be moved. I haven't got money like that. I know you don't, and I know for a fact Davies doesn't. Just keep quiet and keep your head down. I don't want to lose my job even if you seem to.
I don't want to lose my job. I just don't want to die.
Out.
What?
Out.
No, why should I?
You should stop being a prick and move.
No. Why should I? Out.
Alright, okay, I'm moving.
Thank you.
So, Fred's office.
Yeah, they said they'd send someone over tomorrow to check the tip. I expect we'll make a new site by the end of the week.
And looking for new jobs?
Just stop it!
No! I rely on this. I've got a family to feed. I've got a wife, 3 children. They rely on me. I can't afford not to just go into work just because the tip looks a bit different.
You aren't the only one with a family to feed, Hughes. We all have a family to feed.
Yeah, even more reason to just keep quiet and keep your head down. I ain't going to let my children bear the responsibility of our actions.
Shut up and listen to yourself. Head office will come and sort it out tomorrow. We're simply doing our jobs. Not as far as over.
The mine closes? Yes, there is.
You won't close the mine.
How are you so sure?
You just won't.
I'm very sure over there, Thomas.
Don't start again. Sit down and shut up. Good. Now that everyone's calmed down again, no one's getting fired, no one's closing the mine.
They could though, and we're starting trouble for
You
them.
stop it now!
No! I don't care if you can be easily placated by him, but I won't be. I'm going back to work while I still can.
I don't see what his problem is.
He's just worried, I think.
Aren't we all? He isn't special. That tip is moving. Davies like it's as sure as day. It is dangerous.
I'm not the one you have to convince, remember?
Why can't I just see them?
I don't know.
I'm supposed to bloody know anything around here. I'm going back to pit too.
Bloody women.
Hal? Do you mind helping me, please? Come on, you're not going to let a pregnant woman suffer, are you?
Have you heard about these recent pit closures in England?
No. Does that mean we'll close this down too?
Hope not.
What's going on?
The coal board are getting antsy. It says here that they're going to cut any mines that aren't financially viable.
But we are, aren't we? Methvale's one of the biggest producers in Wales.
They'll close us down if we don't make enough money for them.
It's not all that Robin's doing. Since he took over in '61, there's been more pit closures than ever before.
But we'll get shut down. If Methvale closes, we could all be out of a job.
Last time I checked, we don't work in the mine.
No. But when everyone leaves, how can we teach teach children if they're not to teach?
I'm not sure everyone will have to leave.
I think you underestimate how much these people rely on that mine, Hetty. All these people rely on it, you know.
You know, I think that's enough politics talk for one day. It's the last day of term and I for one cannot wait for it to be over.
Yeah, naturally. And we got that party later on, haven't we? Madge, how many people are coming?
Well, Anne isn't coming, but so far I think everyone else is. I've got £3, so I'm just waiting on Micah to pay. He said he'd give me as a break to just decorate this classroom. Are you coming tonight, no?
Don't know.
Come on. It'll be fun.
Go on then. But I'll have to give you the money later on.
Yeah? That's fine. Just give it to me whenever you can. I was thinking of decorating the classroom anyway before then.
I'll join you on that. I think I might go and do that too.
Well, if everyone's going to steal Micah's idea, I may as well too. Got to start getting ready for the end of the day now anyway. So now.
He said I'm going home. And the reality still hadn't come home to me, I didn't think, because I felt like giving them a row for breaking the glass. So we kicked the top of the door off and he went out. And I thought, well, I better try to get out of here.
I remember being thrown across the classroom when it stopped hit us. I must have blacked out. I woke to the sound of rescuers breaking through the windows. And that's where I saw the sight of my friend. Blood was coming from his nose. And that's when I knew he was dead! I will never forget the sight. We were only among ourselves, but one thing in the world can make you old in a million ways.
That's not possible! Thomas, I'm the last person to tell you this, just look!
Send for Aberfan.
The embankment should stop it! It's not stopping! What do we do?
We need to help them.
How are we going to do that?
I don't know, but we need to do something. Come on, let's head straight for them.
Come on!
I've been asked to inform you that there has been a landslide at Canterbury Junior School. The tip has come down in the school. The school is gone!
I can't run anymore! It's not stopping!
The farm's gone.
How much we can do for them now? I said the embankment surely should stop! It's not stopping!
I can't see.
The embankment should have stopped it!
Look,
It's going to hit the school!
I thought.
It's going to hit the school!
down, Tom.
Don't tell me to calm down! Don't leave it! I want to be my baby! I want to...
So many times to see what you got, Kaya.
It's all right! We took him to school, we killed her!
No, Uncle Phil.
My baby! It's all right! It's never gonna be all right again, you my baby! My baby! My baby! My baby!
Pandemonium then. Children rushing around, screaming. There was a tremendous crashing sound when it hit us. Desks and everything pushed against a tidal wave. Everything was black. I thought it was the end. Basically, to stop, I was knocked unconscious for maybe 7 minutes. There was rocks and stones and plants and trees and everything coming in. What could I have done? It was one teacher against the mountain. When I looked out, I could see a large lump of coal, which was part of the cloakroom. When I looked again, I could see that there was a tunnel to go through. So I went back to the children, and I told them there was being fire drill, and that they were to go out quietly. And I would go to the door, I would open it, I would come back, and they would go out one at a time. They weren't to talk, they were to go out into the yard one at a time and wait for the fire drill. And every one of the children did as I asked them. They went out quietly and stood in the yard. I came out then at the end, and May had come down from the room, and we just didn't know what had happened. We went around the corner, and when we looked around the corner, well, it just looked as if the end of the school had just vanished. It was just a black hole tip. When I came outside and I saw the school, what was left of 3 classrooms, and I remember standing there and thinking, well, the reality of it, I just couldn't believe it. When there were, in my calculations, over 100 children, there wasn't a sound.
I was tormented by the fact that I was seeking justice from a Labour government, a Labour council, a Labour nationalised coal board. They were my people! Supposed to be my people!
And in that silence, you couldn't hear a bird or a child. On the 21st of October 1966 at 9:13 a.m, a landslide hit the village of Aberfan. It killed 144 people, and 116 of them were children.
The majority of them were part of the Panklast Junior School, aged between 7 and 10 years old.
They have killed our children. This is what the parents of Aberfan cry out into the night.
They have killed our children!
They have killed my children.
They have killed my son. They have killed my daughter.
My child!
My little girl!
The National Coal Board killed our children! They murdered our children!
Now I, the Right Honourable Cledwyn Hughes, one of Her Majesty's Secretaries of State, do hereby appoint Sir Herbert Edmund Davies, one of Her Majesty's Lord Justices of Appeal, Harold Harding Esquire, Lawrence Vernon Esquire, CBE, to be a tribunal in the said inquiry. I further appoint Sir Herbert Edmund Davies to be Chairman of the Tribunal, in line with the Tribunal Evidence of Inquiry Act 1921. And I say that this Act apply to the Tribunal and that the said Tribunal be constituted as a Tribunal. And that the Tribunal is in line with the said section of the said Act. Let us begin.
During this primal meeting, I shall ask you, Chairman, these questions to think about. What happened at Aberfan? Why did it happen? Needed to happen? Was it the climate effect of what no human foresight could have seen? Or was it the plain way of your conduct and people and organisations? Some blame the National Coal Board on greed. What do you think happened at Aberfan?
This seems impossible to pose these broad and leading questions expecting an answer that would please everybody. This is a difficult and sensitive subject, and I would like to leave the questions until the end of the inquiry. Furthermore, I do not like the implication that the Coal Board or any sort of organisation is at fault for what has occurred and would like that struck from the record.
I will allow it.
This is disgraceful!
We will reconvene at a later date. We will see from our first witness and collect evidence from there. Meeting adjourned until then.
Our children were buried alive by the National Coal Board. They didn't stand a chance.
You need to stop fussing over his shoes. It's not healthy, Sylvia.
I will do what I wish.
Sylvia, it's been a month now. Please just talk to me.
I am talking.
Yes, but you're not talking to me.
I will not throw out my daughter's shoes.
I'm not asking that.
Then I don't see what the problem is.
Carry out. I'm worried about you.
How can you do it?
Do what?
Just carry on like nothing's happened. My baby's dead and you just carry on. How?
Do you think it's difficult for me too?
It's not. Doesn't seem like it.
She was my little girl too.
Oh, you're
Not
not.
just your baby. Our baby still. She was my little girl too.
You're not acting like it.
That's not fair, and you know it.
Just leave me alone.
Sylvia?
Just leave me alone. What's that?
The government. They're offering financial compensation to anyone who's lost a child.
I don't know how you want me to respond.
They're going to send representatives around to judge how much we get based on that. It's inhumane. It's ridiculous. They decide how much our daughter's worth, how much our dead child is worth.
Will you please just stop? I can't take it anymore. Why must this have happened to us?
I don't know, Carrie.
Your Honour,
Yes, son?
was this our fault?
That is yet to be seen.
We didn't mean to kill anyone.
Don't say anything that can be used against you, boy. We are trying to make this go away as easy as we can. You cannot make yourself a martyr for the people of Aberfan. We'll find out the easiest way to make this fall.
I did everything by the book, didn't I? We did everything we could.
Yes, but not sometimes everything just isn't enough. Now! Could you, for the record, retell the version of events that befell you and the other tip hands on the mountainside on the day of October 21st, 1966.
Boy, we do not have all day. If you could please tell us exactly what happened on Leather Mountain.
I was standing on the depression. I was looking down onto it, and what I saw, I couldn't believe my eyes. It started to come back up. It started to rise slowly at first. I still didn't believe it. I thought I was seeing things. And it rose up after pretty fast at a tremendous speed. Then it sort of came up out of the depression and turned itself into a wave. That's the only way I can describe it. Then rolled down the mountain towards Aberfan village into the mist. When Hughes shouted, we all got to the top of the tip, and all I can tell you is it was going down at a hell of a speed. I myself ran down to the side of tip number 3, all the way down to number 2, and 1 on the side. As I was running, I heard another roar behind me, trees cracking and a tram stopping. I stopped, I fell, in fact. All I could see was waves of muck, slush and water. I still kept running, I still kept going down, shouting. I couldn't see, nobody could. And then I heard a voice answer me, and he shouted,
Get out of there, for God's sake!
That was Trevor Steed. I went with Trevor Steed down onto the old railway line. By that time, the mates had come down with me, behind me. We went along the line as far as we could towards the school, which we could see all the houses were down. We could not pass that way because there was too much water running down. We could not go the way we wanted to go.
Thank you, Mr. Davies. Not only have you shown us that you entertain the fear that the tip might slip, but it also will reach the village, and by reaching the village may risk life. Am I right so far?
Yes, Minister.
What each and every one of the members of the tribunal want to establish is this. If you entertained in your mind the substantial fear of risk to life, then what does it matter if you ask people to take steps or not? Why not take them if there is a risk to life?
If I have taken them, I have. Minister, permit me to say this.
Certainly.
More than a shrewd suspicion that the colliery would be closed.
Then are we to understand that you went through the torturous and no doubt torturous process of weighing one against the other. The risk of life on one hand and the risk of colliery closure on the other, and came out in favour of taking no action, which might risk colliery closure. Mr. Davies, think about your answer, for stop you understand this is a question of considerable gravity.
Yes, I have thought, if I may say so, but I have to consider the general feelings and desires of the people in that ward. And if I had an official approach made to me about that tip, I should not like to tell the inquiry that we could have stopped it. But if I had been asked to do so, I would have done it.
Thank you.
Whatever the consequences about the colliery.
That shall be all, Mr. Davies. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
There is no doubt that Mr. Leslie Davies for some time was in the gravest of danger. It is little short of miraculous that he and his workmates did not suffer the same tragedy which befell the 144 whose lives were so tragically terminated by this disaster.
Such is, in bare outline, of what happened at Aberfan. Meeting adjourned. Reconvene on November 8th at 9 a.m.
It's bizarre seeing a school like this. So empty. I guess I'm just used to all the noise. It's awful what happened here. All those poor children. I guess God's just cruel sometimes. I come here quite a lot, just to stand and think. My husband helped rescue some of the children. I didn't have anyone inside, luckily. This one's too young to be going to school yet. Saving graces. But it's weird. I feel like I owed him a debt. And I don't quite know why. There's such sorrow here. I can feel it here in the ground. I think I just need to pay my respects to them.
I haven't had the strength to come back here. My daughter was in there when the tip fell. She didn't make it out. I haven't been back since. The last place my captain was alive. I don't even know what I'm here to say. I guess it's just time to say goodbye to my baby.
Me and my friends have started a weekly meeting for the mothers of the children who went to Pant class. Not everyone has lost a child, but we were all affected by it in some way. One woman lost a niece, another lost her brother. But it doesn't really matter because we all support each other. I really think we can help you. Think about it, please. I wish you well. God rest your Catherine's soul. I will leave you to think now. Excuse me.
It's just a formality, my dear, and then we shall begin. Could you please tell us your full name?
Cynthia Hill, sir.
Thank you, Miss Hill. Now, could you please tell everybody what happened on the morning of October the 21st, 1966?
Yes, well, I was making my way towards the senior school. I was walking up Moy Road at around 9:50 and on my way to meet my friends there. I saw them sat at the end of on the wall at the end of the road where we usually meet. Before I confronted them, there was this awful noise. It sounded like an aeroplane. It was so loud, sir, it scared me so much. Then there was this high wave of muck. It was higher than a house, sir, I swear it. It came over the old railway embankment and was heading straight towards me. I could see boulders and trees and trams, bricks, lorry and water. It looked like it was moving fast as a car goes in a town. I saw it happen, sir. All my friends were sat on that wall. I saw them buried, crushed and killed. I was very fortunate to escape alive, though I was struck by some flying material.
Is there anything else you want to say, Miss Owens?
I don't think so.
Are you sure? Think really hard.
No, sir, that's all I can remember, I promise you.
That is all, Miss Hill. Thank you for your time. You may go now.
Can I go home now? I want to go home.
Yes, you may, Miss Hill.
Thank you.
How many more statements left before we can close the inquiry, Minister?
As many as we can to find out the truth of what happened. Let's get through these next few as quickly as possible. Can we bring Miss Lorraine Owens? And we'll hear her version of events. We'll try and piece this together now.
Miss Lorraine Owens, emergency nurse with Mountain Ash Hospital.
Thank you, Miss Owens. Now, if you would like to tell everybody what happened on that day.
I'm a nurse working in the Mountain Ash Hospital, just outside of Merthyr Vale. Typically, we deal with just normal bumps and scrapes. Occasionally, the odd mining accident. But when I got a call from my superior saying I was needed in Aberfan, I knew something was seriously wrong. I'd never been sent out to another hospital before, so I was a bit apprehensive. We weren't told anything, just that there was an accident and they needed our help. There were maybe 10, 20 of us sent over. I could never have been prepared for the sight that would greet us. Never in 100 years. All of those little bodies. It was absolutely harrowing. I don't think I will ever forget it for as long as I live. Some of them were just unrecognisable. They said there were thousands of tons of that stuff. I hit the school. They were defenceless. Those children did nothing wrong. Nothing to deserve that biblical retribution. It was an impossible fight. A fight in which there were no winners.
Can you elaborate any more, Miss Owens?
No, I don't think I'd like to say anymore.
Yes, Miss Owens?
You know fully well who is responsible for this disaster. You! No! Don't let this be swept away under the rug. This was not the fault of the people of Aberfan. They are good people. The National Coal Board is to blame. The National Coal Board killed a generation of children. Don't let people forget that.
That's quite enough of that now, Miss Owens. If you could please see yourself to your seat.
Hold on a moment. Mr. Owens, I would like to have it known to you that we are trying to figure out what happened and why it happened. There is no blaming and no witch hunting to be happening here. And I would like that struck from the end of the inquiry and would hope that nothing like this ever happens again in this inquiry.
Yeah! I'm meant to be fighting for us! Meant to be fighting for them! You are our people! I just can't understand why you won't take responsibility for the actions of the men who caused this disaster!
No, that is quite enough. Mr. Hughes, please see Miss Owens out now. Thank you.
Is that all?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Hughes. Bring in the next witness, please.
It can be said that the responsibility for the tragedy of 1966 was the accumulated responsibility of generations. When the first tramload of material was deposited on that mountain slope, it can be said that responsibility started. Should large quantities of material ever be deposited on a slope of this character? When you place a large accumulation of material on a steep mountain slope, there must inevitably be a potential danger of it hurtling down the mountainside. The land allocated to the colliery for tipping sites is some of the lowest quality and could not even possibly be used for anything else. That was never a good site. And I also feel that the unmentioned points which are specifically mentioned in connection with the application, then your council should appreciate the diversion of that overhead line towards Methervale Colliery. You know fully well that that board is intending to reorganise the tipping facilities at Methervale Colliery, so you should understand why this is so important. And if access is not granted, then I'm afraid a very similar event may occur.
I wish to say in unequivocal terms that the blame for the disaster must rest upon the National Coal Board. Responsibility begins with management. Clear instructions were not given, nor were any procedures laid down, so that both workmen and officials were left without proper guidance.
Your subsequent inquiries made it plain to see that there was no inspection procedure at all for the tips of Aberfan.
While no regular inspection was adequate, I would agree.
We are constantly checking the position of these tips.
Were you seriously putting forward that unless the tip moves, no precaution is necessary?
That is the way it has always been, but I think it has been mostly considered after the recent disaster.
Isn't that not a very wrong way?
Probably, Minister. We did not see it.
In the field of mechanical and electrical engineering, the industry has relied too much in the past on people who've been in the pit long, but do not have the qualifications necessary.
Could anyone before Tip 7 was started, not necessarily a surveyor or an engineer or anything of that kind, could I walk up the mountainside to Tip 7 before it began to fail, firstly to see that there was a stream on the land which later became covered by Tip 7? If I used my eyes at all, could I fail to see it?
You could not fail to see it, Minister, no.
The spring you were referring to, could a lawyer with no expert knowledge of this matter at all, taking a countryside walk up the mountainside, fail to see that in wetter weather, where in drier weather a spring would usually be? Could they fail to see that?
He could not fail to see it, my lord, no.
Those are the streams in spring you later on mentioned covered Tip 7?
Yes, my lord.
If I ever understood you correctly, you say there never should be, even on flat land, a site begun without proper investigation?
That is so.
It follows, therefore, there having been no site investigation in this particular case, there never should have been a tip. That is right, is it not?
Yes.
And no tip, no slide?
Quite.
There should have never been a tip there.
That tip should never have been there.
This shouldn't have happened.
This should never have happened.
What do you think the conclusion they come to be?
I don't know. But I hope they'll acknowledge the people who have caused this.
It looks like it, but I don't think the National Coal Board will take their responsibility for the mistakes they made.
What do we do then?
Move on. There's nothing more we can do.
We've got to move on sometimes.
We've done all we can for Catherine. But move on.
I'm sorry, Carrie-Anne.
So am I. So am I.
We should go back in now.
All right. Mr. Thomas.
Come on, Mrs. Thomas.
a summary of today's findings, we find that the blame rests upon the National Coal Board. This blame is shared through varying degrees from the National Coal Board, the South Western Divisional Border, and certain individuals.
There was a total absence of tipping policy, and this was the basic cause of the disaster in this respect. However, the National Coal Board were following in the footsteps of their predecessors. They were not guided either by Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Mines and Quarries or by legislation. There is no legislation dealing with the safety of tips in force in this or any country, except in parts of West Germany and in South Africa.
The legal liability for the National Coal Board to pay compensation for personal injuries, fatal or otherwise, is incontestable and uncontested. Action needs to take place to safeguard the future conditions of the tips at Aberfan. Underground stowing of mine rubbish is not, generally speaking, a practical proposition.
All tips should be regarded as possibly dangerous. The system of intercommunication within the National Coal Board needs examination and overhaul.
A National Tips Safety Committee should be appointed to advise the Minister and to coordinate research into the problems surrounding the tip safety and the bulk disposal of industrial waste material. The National Coal Board should continue to have prime responsibility of all its tips of ownership.
A standard code of practices should be prepared for consideration by the National Tip Safety Committee, with its views being issued publicly and applied to all tips, whether in ownership of the National Coal Board or otherwise.
Her Majesty's Inspectorate, strengthened by the additional qualified civil engineers and armed with additional statutory powers, should take responsibility by ensuring the National Coal Board discharge duties in relation to tip stability and tip control.
A local authority should have the right to see plans for any new tips, but also should see the paperwork for any existing tips, and if not satisfied, should have the right to appeal to the Minister for examination and any further recommendations.
Men engaged in the daily management and control of the tips should be retrained for their mistakes. Managers and surveyors should, as soon as possible, be made aware of the rudiments of soil mechanics and groundwater conditions. The statutory qualifications should also be amended to include the awareness of rudiments of soil mechanics and the hydrology, as well as the geology already comprised in the syllabus.
There were several matters regarding new legislation, but we'd like to give our deep gratitude to Mr. Roger Lloyd Thomas, which he discharged heavy duties imposed upon himself for a long period as Secretary to the Tribunal.
The people of Aberfan never truly got the justice that they deserved for the loss of a whole generation of children. The National Coal Board were told to take responsibility for the part they had to play in the destruction that befell the people of Aberfan village.
Even if they were told to take responsibility, the National Coal Board officials and tip managers were not reprimanded, and only 9 members of staff were to be held accountable.
Of these 9 senior members of staff, 1 junior member of staff was imposed as a senior member of staff to take the unjustified blame. There's several senior members of the Coal Board used this as a way of saving face and to shy away from taking responsibility.
The tribunal inquiry made numerous recommendations of action that will need to be taken to make sure this never, ever happened again. There was an extension made to the Mines and Quarries Act of 1954, but nothing else. This law has not been amended since. There have been countless scares of tip slides similar to what happened in Aberfan. The law has still not been changed.
The HM Inspector of the Mines was largely unchallenged during the tribunal, and as a result escaped any retribution for their actions in regard to the Aberfan disaster. Even now they do not take responsibility, however small they seem it, in the destruction of the village.
The people of Aberfan never got their compensation for their grief and loss. They got £50 per child if they grieved enough.
In addition to this, the people of Aberfan were forced to pay £750,000 towards the removal of the tips. They've only very recently just got the money that they rightfully deserve. This when adjusted to today's inflation, is £7,022,219.
For those men, women and children who lost their lives, there is a memorial garden to keep their memory and their legacy alive. Many of the victims, including 81 children, were all buried together on October the 27th, 1966. There was a memorial there, in that section of the graveyard, to pay respect.
At that funeral, on the 27th of October 1966, there were 2 hymns played in a service which lasted only 15 minutes. The first, Loving Shepherd of Thy Sheep. The second, Jesus, Lover of My Soul. 5,000 people sang, 5,000 people fell silent.
Despite everything that happened, the people of Aberfan found a way to carry on. The Young Wives Club met every single week to help the young mothers and the young wives grieve the loss of their loved ones. They still meet to this day. The same is said for the male voice choir. Even through all of that grief and suffering, they found a way to stay strong. They found a way to grow closer as a community through that disaster. They built a community hall with the money that was rightfully returned to them. Nobody will forget the 144 lives that were taken too soon that day. Upon that silence in the mountain, you couldn't hear a bird or a child.